Reading is such a gift to so many of us, whatever your, whatever season of life that you're going through.
Hi, Terry Gillespie here, and welcome to A2A, Author to Author. And I am so excited with this author, best-selling and award-winning and critically acclaimed author. And we had such a great conversation before we rolled the cameras. So I'm sorry you missed it, but it was really good. So I'm sure the rest is going to be wonderful. So first of all, I want to say thank you to my viewers and especially my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that red subscribe button, be sure and click that, because that is going to be really helpful when we start talking about giveaways. So more on that later. In the meantime, I want to welcome Nicole Deese.
Hello. Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's an honor. It really is. I've really been looking forward to this.
Me too.
So, yay! So Nicole, as a busy author, a busy mom and wife, and an armchair homesteader, although I've seen some pictures of your sourdough bread, and it does look very good.
Oh, good. That's not my only talent in the homesteading world. So,
but I love that you were bartering with
yes.
your bread.
My neighbor. Yeah, my neighbor. I get eggs from her and she gets bread from me. So,
well, and eggs this day and age, that's pretty good. So,
yeah, I definitely am, I think, getting the better end of that deal.
So, since you're so busy, and I know you're plotting another book right now, how do our viewers and our readers keep in touch with you?
So the best way is simply to subscribe to my newsletter on NicoleDeese.com. And then I'm also pretty active on my social media. Instagram and Facebook are the two kind of ones I'm most active on. And I think those are just Nicole Deese, author.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, and fortunately, all those links are going to be down below in the description section. So it makes it easy, and Bob will flash things up too. So, so if you don't have a photogenic memory, what is that called?
Photographic memory. I'm not sure what.
Photograph. Yeah, we are writers, right?
Yeah.
So,
I just have one talent.
And also down below in the description section is the link to the blog interview. And there's even more interesting information about Nicole on the blog interview. Plus, I am, by the way, going to steal some photos from your social media so that we could
put.
Okay. Well, I especially love the picture of your newest book, and then you got your nails to match the color of the book, and then you had nail art to have with the flowers.
I love nail life. I love getting my nails done. So my very good friend, who's actually named Terry, has been doing my nails for many, many years. And so, yeah, it's really our time to just sit together and talk for 2 hours, but yes, I love
it.
The girly nail world.
Yeah, I love it. My daughter used to do nails. She used to be a nail technician, and then she became allergic to the chemicals. So yeah, so she had to stop. Okay, so trying to think of it. Oh, yes, and also the link to Baker Book Group, which will have the link to all the different outlets to where you can purchase your books. So if you have special deals with Barnes and Noble, or if you have Prime with Amazon, they have
Yeah.
links to all of those, which I didn't know that until a couple months ago. So
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. The
it's
wonderful
very
perk.
cool.
Yeah.
So this is something that Nicole and I talked about a little bit in her latest book, The Words We Lost. It really was a balm to my soul, and it really addresses grief,
Mm.
um, and a grief that isn't dealt with. So that brings such great conflict and interest to the story. But then you have a mystery,
Mm.
and you have a love story, and you have some delicious insights into publishing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
love it. So I thought what would be nice is if you could read a portion of your newest book, so that our viewers can get a chance to see just how wonderful this book is.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you so much for um, just letting me share the time to do that, Terry. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
I chose just a section in chapter 2, which is the meet cute, where our heroine meets our hero in this second chance romance. So I'll just begin. And she is just leaving a conversation with her assistant, Chip. Maybe he's right. Maybe if I could just think a minute, there might be a way to keep my job while also keeping Chip out of trouble. I skim my teeth over my bottom lip and reach for my office door, thinking of the lone protein bar at the bottom of my desk drawer. Maybe Chip's right about my hangry eyes showing too. First, I'll eat, then I'll strategize. I push into my office and immediately startle back. A heart stopping electric current stuns all 5 of my senses at once at the sight of the broad shouldered man staring out my office window. For the briefest of seconds, every shattered thing in my world pushes to the periphery to make way for a hope that hurts nearly as badly as the heartache it's desperate to replace. On sheer instinct, my body moves toward him, desiring a reunion I've never allowed, a restoration I've never believed possible. But as soon as he faces me, it all comes rushing back into focus again. The place and time I yearn for in my restless dreams no longer exists. And yet somehow the past I fled is standing right in front of me, hundreds of miles off course and a handful of years too late. For an immeasurable amount of time, neither of us speaks, allowing my brain the space it needs to thrust my last in person memory of Joel Campbell to the surface. Joel, sitting in the front row of Lighthouse Community Fellowship at Cece's funeral, next to a leggy redhead who fiddles with the yellow marigold pinned to his lapel. Me, sitting 2 rows behind them in the not quite family, not but more than friend section. Perhaps the most honest definition of this in between I straddled as Captain Hal's daughter and Joel Campbell's whatever we once were to each other. Though his stance is as unwavering as it's always been, I can't help but note the wariness anchored to his shoulder and the faint brushstrokes of silver interspersed through his thick cinnamon brown waves. It's the same dignified shade of silver his father embraced sometime in his early 30s, and likely what Joel himself will embrace in only a few years' time. His solid frame is a far cry from the lanky athletic build of his youth, as is his once familiar dress code and as if his once familiar dress code of blue jeans and a logoed work polo is no longer acceptable. This Joel wears slacks and a button-up shirt, yet it's the hauntingly empathetic way his gaze fuses with mine that renders me motionless. I'm sorry, Ingrid, is all he gets out before I'm reaching for something solid, a door, a wall, anything that will keep me upright as my reconstructed world begins to collapse in on itself.
Wow. Hmm. So you definitely get the romance notes
Yeah.
of
Oh.
of the story,
Yeah.
but then you also we also get the funeral and
Mhm.
touching on the funeral. And one of the things that I noticed in the book is that Ingrid isolated herself. I mean,
Mhm.
and as an introvert, that was what I did when my sister died. I immediately isolated myself,
Yeah.
and I wondered if that was something that just introverts do, or if that's a phenomenon that is common to
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. I think that there's such a universal um, hand that's dealt, with grief. Like it's so individual and unique for everyone, that's hit with a trauma and a tragedy and grief. But as an extrovert, I think that so much kind of just shuts down, in our brain and our bodies and our heart, like, and we feel this frozen, almost paralyzed. I don't know how to move forward. And so I think it
Mhm.
probably is very common for so many people, introvert, extrovert, um, to pull away. And, even though I get re-energized being around people, it's just such it's so shocking, when a loved one dies, when someone you're close to dies. I think that no one really knows how to. It's not natural, I guess, is the thing.
Mhm.
Immediately reach out, or even know what is right, or what to do. And I think even those of us with a strong relationship with the Lord,
Mhm.
it's even hard, I think, to even reach out with words to pray. That's when we have to rely on that Spirit to just help us, connect to our Father, because it is just so shocking and painful. But I do think that it's a natural response for so many to pull away first before they know kind of how to reach out, and even what to say when they do reach out.
Mhm. Well, it's interesting because, we've lived within the Jewish community when we lived in Philadelphia. We lived there for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
And they actually sit Shiva, which Shiva means seven. And they allow that person 7 days to just grieve.
Yeah.
And they're there, but they put no demands on them. They give them food.
Expectations. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow,
I
that's
always thought,
beautiful.
yeah, I always thought that was
Yeah.
um, such a beautiful way to help a person through that, in
Yeah.
those early stages.
Yeah. And I think on that note too, so many times there are no words. Like I think a lot of our friends and our family who watch us grieve, or when something tragic happens to us, or if we're the ones watching in, so, on someone else we love that's grieving, there's this strange uh, tension of what do I say, and am I going to say the wrong thing? And I think that so often, even as we see it in the Bible, so often just being with somebody, just letting your presence, be with them, like not telling them call me when you need something, because we don't even know what to do.
Mm-mm.
We don't even know what we need, but having that availability of someone who is just going to sit with us, going to bring us water, going to remind us to eat, going to and just sit in silence. There is such a comfort in that. There's such a healing, soothing power in just presence with someone.
Mhm.
So that's really
You
that's
know,
really
that's very well said, and I think we have a tendency to try to fix things
oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
say the right thing,
Yeah.
and platitudes, and really it's something only the Holy Spirit can do. It's
Yeah.
something only our Father can do, um, to heal us. So sometimes, I know some of the things that people would say. I don't know about you, but I was like, okay, okay, thanks,
Oh
bye.
man, yeah. Those some of those sentiments are doozies, aren't they? And my parents are now so I lost my sister, my younger sister, about 9 years ago, and as I share that in my author's note at the back of the story.
Mhm.
But so my parents have actually gone on to be certified in like a grief support and to lead groups and things for other parents who've lost kids. And so they've been doing that for the last couple of years. It's a ministry that they run from their home. And what's been so interesting is as they've kind of taken these classes and kind of become certified in counseling for these support groups, they always say like the words "at least" are like the worst, words that you can, and I know like the hearts of these people that say it are usually so right. They just, and we have this need to want to say something and to make something better, and you can't. And I still, even after losing, two dear people I love, in a short period of time, I still want to do that. We still want to do that. But, I just remember my parents saying like, at least, like, never say, at least she was this, or at least she had a good life, or at least whatever. It's like, that's not a comfort, that's not a comfort. But then also trying to, realize that silence is okay. Again, that silence is sometimes the best gift that we can offer someone who's in their head, and just trying to make sense of something that often feels like it's senseless. So
Hmm. Yeah. In my Hair Mavens trilogy, the protagonist's aunt who raised her passes away, and so I tried to show what um, a shiva is like,
yeah,
and I just think it's a wonderful thing to know that somebody's sitting next to you, so you have that comfort, but they're
yeah,
not demanding anything, and they're not, you're not expecting them.
right,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
That's huge.
Hmm. So, and by the way, viewers, this book is more than about grieving. It really is. It is. It is such a cool mystery. It's almost like a treasure hunt, and then of course the love story, and then if you readers have ever wanted to know what it's like on the inside in the publishing world, Nicole
Yeah.
even gives you a little sneak peek into that too. So it's so much. It's just so great. So what are you working on now?
So, The Words We Lost is connected to a 3-book. So it's a 3-book series. And so it is all individual storylines. And there's one character that kind of goes throughout all three, which is Chip, who is in the first book as my protagonist's assistant. So he is kind of a
Oh,
character
good.
throughout, and then of course the publishing house itself, Fog Harbor Books, which I put a set in San Francisco, is a part of all 3 books. So the second book, I actually just got my edits back on today, and that is about. I'll just kind of give you some bullet points. I won't kind of give you a summary, but it's about a completely different family than anyone you read in the first book. But it's about a woman who is in her 70s, who is very similar to a Dolly Parton type character, a big legend in the country music world. And then she has 3 adult daughters. The youngest is Reagan, who is my protagonist for book 2, which is called The Roads We Follow. And she is single and kind of struggles with some of some typical youngest child stuff, a lot of sisterly, banter and tensions and relational issues between these 3 girls. And they are going to honor their mothers. Kind of her idea for this quest that she's after, to take a road trip from their home in Nashville all the way up to Washington State. And meanwhile, Reagan is also a she's kind of a secret author and has kept that a secret, like a secret writer has kind of kept that a secret from her family. So there's lots of secrets and mysteries all throughout. And then, of course, what would a book be without a charming romance? So there is a bus driver, the tour bus driver of this little family women's, family trip across the state is a man named Micah, and he is, on the outside looks like he's just there to drive the bus, but he actually has lots of secrets on his own and an ulterior motive for being on this specific trip, answer a mystery of his own.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So my writer brain is going all sorts of places with this.
Yeah, it's fun. It was very fun book to write. So I enjoyed it. And I love this family so much. So I hope my readers love it.
So these aren't the sisters that were in the first book. This
Nope.
is a different group of sisters.
Nope.
Okay.
But Allie, who is mentioned in book 1, is going to be mentioned, or she is a little bit in the next couple books as well. So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And now when will this book come out?
So always April of every year, I'll have a release. So it'll be, sometime April in 2024. Yeah.
Yay. All right. So as I said, of course, you got, everybody got a lot of great information, but there is more information on the blog as well as secrets on how you can increase your chances of winning the giveaway.
Yeah.
And Anne was so sweet. Instead of just one book, there'll be 2 of these that she's giving away. So, which is really nice, because what I noticed is there's less sharing when there's only one book. But when there are 2 books, there's more sharing.
The chances are doubled, right? So
yes, exactly.
But I think that's how that works.
Yeah. Well, if they don't want anyone else to know how to win, they'll keep that information.
Yeah. Anne is a wonderful publicist at Bethany House. So I'm glad that she's very generous. So I'm glad that you got to.
So now one of the fun things I like to do is I like to ask just kind of sometimes silly or fun questions. And one of the questions that I asked Nicole was, what is your secret power? And if you don't have a secret power, what would you like to have?
My secret power. I didn't know that this was some kind of secret power, but I'm actually on a plotting retreat with 4 other authors, and we've come out here to North Carolina and the Outer Banks for the last 8 years. And they always tell me that I am good at connecting people together. So even these authors that are here, I kind of knew them all individually, and then kind of helped form this group. And so even though we all have our own individual roles and we're all necessary to the whole of us, I do really love to meet people and kind of help connect them to other people that I think, they would like to know. And so that's when I'm an extrovert all through and through. And so the idea of, going to large gatherings or meeting a bunch of people and trying to help them connect in smaller circles is really, I didn't realize that was something big, but or something important, but that's what I'm told, that they're always like, you're the connector. So I think that if I had something, it would be something somewhere along those lines.
Well, there are actually companies that have networkers and that connect people. I mean, they get fees for that. So you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. But it is actually in the fantasy world and the superpower world, it is actually called Fanon, but it's community of unity, the power to be the unity or mind of a community. The user is community conscious, so they coordinate better than other communities. This gives them intelligence, power, and instant communication. In this way, they can easily rise above other communities, control and exploit them. But you would never do that.
No, that's, yeah, wow. I didn't know it
Yeah.
had a name. So there you go. I
Yeah.
learned something new.
Yeah. And you could be a cruise director too. So
Yeah, that I really could do. And I enjoy having fun. So, and making.
okay, so let's see. So, viewers out there, how many of you would like to win one of these books? And by the way, did you notice I tried to wear something that matched your book? I tried to.
Yes. Oh, that really does. It kind of looks like waves too, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. I didn't even think
Yeah.
of that. And
Yeah, that's
that's
beautiful.
applicable too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
So if you would like to win one of these books, as I said, go down in the description section and go over to the blog and find out how you can earn extra entries. But just a little hint, it's basically comment, like, and share and subscribe. But you have to look and see what those little tricks are. So the drawing will be held Friday, May 12th. And if you are already a subscriber to this YouTube channel or to my newsletter and you comment, you will get those extra entries. So, and please note that only those in the contiguous US are eligible for this entry since it is a book. Maybe sometime we'll do ebooks and so that everybody can participate. But right now we're just doing physical books. So that means that Alaska and Hawaii, sorry about that, guys. You don't qualify for this particular giveaway. So, but we're going to work on that. So, Nicole, do you have any final words for our viewers?
I just love readers. And yeah, I think that reading is such a gift to so many of us, whatever your, whatever season of life that you're going through, or whether you want, like you said, a book is made up of so many different elements. But I think that as we talked, previous to this vlog, that it's for the words we lost, yeah, it's definitely, there's a journey of grief and of healing and of moving from isolation to community. But like you said, it's also a second chance love story. And I think probably one of my favorite parts about the words we lost is simply the friendships that are so bonded, within the story with the three, Cece, Joel, and Ingrid. So I hope that readers love it. I hope they give it a chance. I promise you will not be crying through the entire book. But yeah, it's not nearly as scary as I think some people are like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much grief. And yeah, it's in there, but yeah, it's in there, but there's happy moments too, and it's a romance, so you're guaranteed a happy ending. But yeah, I love that about the books that I read too, is that kind of the different seasons of life that I'm in is the kind of the books that I tend to gravitate toward.
Right.
I'm choosing. But yeah, but thank you, Terri, for having me on and for your kind review. And yeah, and I'm glad that this story touched your heart too in your experience with loss. So yeah.
Well, thank you. It is I think what is wonderful about our words when we write is when we can touch someone else's heart. That is a gift. That is a sacred gift.
Mhm.
that God gives us, and to be good stewards of that is so important.
I agree.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, and one of the things that you mentioned is to read the author notes at the end of the book. It it gives so much insights, and if you're in a book club, a lot of times that helps generate some great conversations. So, book clubs, be sure and check out this book as well. So thank you everyone for watching the 29th interview episode. And one last, remember that in the description section are all those great links, and especially a reminder that a lot of times we do connect through social media. So connecting through those likes and comments and subscribes really do make a difference. So next month, our A2A episode will feature two best-selling authors and award-winning authors, and it's Marcus Brotherton and Tosca Lee. And
Awesome.
yeah, and it's a very different book. Very, very different book. Really good. Um, so, thanks so much for being my guest. I really enjoyed having you, Nicole. And thanks again, viewers, for watching. So, God bless. And what do we say, Nicole? Keep reading.
Keep reading. Absolutely.